Good evening. Assalamu alaikum. It's nighttime now. I don't know if you can see. I was so busy today. I never had a chance to make a video for today, so I'm making one now. Um, these are videos in a series on the darknesses. It's an alternative school of physics, if you like. There's the Copenhagen view, which is the Heisenberg and Niels Bohr. Even Einstein was in that group of physicists of about 80 years ago or so. And they are the dominant view of physics. That's the kind of physics that you learn in school. But there are other views. I mean, besides my physics, there's also somebody like David Bohm who he didn't agree with the whole space is a void idea, which is what my thing is. I study the darknesses. Of course, you have to study the light also, which is what they look at, and they only look at the light. And that is why they only look at about 5%, not even 5% of what is out there. The bulk of what is out there is the black. At night, you see black. And you see a pinprick here and a pinprick there, and those are stars, those are light. And that's what they look at, the pinpricks, the light that they can see. They look through telescopes and then they see moons and asteroids and stuff because the sunlight and the starlight and even the moonlight reflects off these objects. That's why they can see them, because you need to see light reflecting off something before you can see it. So that's the only thing that they study, the stuff they can see with their eyes. And they use other instruments to detect X-rays and gamma rays and so on. So they do detect other forms of electromagnetic waves, of which light, or what we can detect with our eyes, is also an electromagnetic wave. So they look at the entire spectrum of electromagnetic waves. And in physics, you are going to study the entire spectrum of electromagnetic waves. And then you will see that they can detect a lot more by looking at stuff in other spectra besides the visible light spectra. They look at, X-rays. There's X-ray emissions out there. There's gamma ray emissions out there. And these other rays, they look at infrared and all of that. You can see the heat signature of the universe. But besides that, lately they're looking at tiny waves, and they call it gravitational waves. They detected a gravitational wave because they're now starting to understand, and this comes closer to my physics. My physics, I am led to believe, operates on the 10 to the minus 18 scale, which is the atto scale. Physics not too long ago was operating on the nanoscale, and they have actually built a machine at Lido which picked up something, and it measured something, but on the 10 to the minus scale. So now they call it a gravitational wave, and they say that that wave traveled through space as a disturbance of the collision of two black holes. Okay, I'm not so concerned about how it happened. The fact is they detected a wave on that scale. I mean, that is mind-boggling how they can detect it. You must look up LIGO, Ligo. It's a device. It's basically a 4 kilometer arm in one direction and a 4 kilometer arm in 90 degrees to that direction. And then they shine laser beams, precision laser beams down each arm. And then they measure the movement of those arms in with respect to one another. And that's how they pick up a wave on the nano level, 10 to the minus 9. I mean, that is smaller. It's a tiny little wave. Now, waves in the darknesses, it's my opinion that that is evidence of a wave in the darknesses. That's what it is, because they say it goes through Earth, it goes through everything. It just like it's not there. It just travels right through. And if we think about it, those waves are so small that it can go right through you. Your eye can't pick it up because it's too small. It doesn't get detected by your eye. It goes right through your eye, right through your retina. Your retina doesn't pick it up. That's how tiny it is, you know? And so to me, it's not a gravitational wave. I mean, Einstein has already showed us there's no such thing as gravity. You know, it's the curvature. Well, he says the curvature of space time. And in my physics, it's the curvature of the darknesses. It is curved. It's like water, you know, and the objects in it curves it. You know, you take a ball and you put it in water, then the water curves under the ball. So imagine that in 3D, you put it in there, and then all around it, the darknesses is curved around it, and things will move into a place of more relaxation. Everything in space tends towards a place of more relaxation than the state where it is in. That's why something is always moving. It's always moving like a river. You know, when a river flows, it flows around a rock because it's easier. You know, it's more relaxed to go around a rock than right over the rock. Too much effort. So it goes, the water is like a lot of the students. And you know, the more intelligent you are, the lazier you are. Because that otherwise all these things wouldn't have been invented. You know, if people just accepted, but it was the lazy. Oh, being lazy and intelligent is good. Being lazy and stupid, that's the other story, you know, because they're just going to do nothing. But if you're lazy and intelligent, then you're going to try to figure out how can I get something to do this for me when I'm too lazy to do it myself. And that's how all the stuff was invented in the past. All inventions was by lazy, clever people. They were clever, but they were lazy. So they got stuff, they built stuff to do things for them. You know, because they knew they had to do stuff, but they were too lazy to do it. And they knew there was a easier way to do all these things. And that is what physics is. Engineering is, you know, they say engineers build all these things, which is true. But I mean, they engineer the stuff, but it's physics. Everything is physics. Everything, because that everything is made up of tiny little atoms. Everything, inorganic and organic matter. And so that is physics. Everything must be about physics. If you look long enough, deep enough, high enough, far enough, then it's physics. You can't get away from that fact. It's not possible to get away. You cannot get out of the universe. No human being, no, even in soul form, you cannot get out of the universe. So, you know, you cannot get away from the fact that physics is everything, and everything can be explained in terms of physics. You need to just think about it long enough and figure it out, and you can get there. And that is why my physics of the darknesses explains everything. If there's something that I can't explain, then I haven't heard about it yet. But everything else, you know, quantum physics, black holes, which is not really a hole, interstellar physics, intergalactic physics, the description of the universe, the what is beyond the universe, how it started, why is it expanding, what is dark matter, what is dark energy, how does it come about, how does the universe expand, you know, how was tiny particles created. A lot of the stuff they know, but they see it and they interpret it wrongly. Why? Because the only thing that they look at is light. So they assume everything happens in the light. But the light covers up the darknesses. So if something happens in the darknesses and you see it when it's lit up, then you're going to assume that it takes place in the light, which is what they do. But it doesn't. It takes place in the darknesses and you see it through the light. And then you assume that it's taking place in the light. But the darkness is everywhere, everywhere. It cannot, the darknesses cannot be nowhere. So there cannot be nothing. There is no such thing as nothing. There's no such thing as the void. And there's no such thing as empty space. The darknesses is everywhere. Okay, that is a nice short 10-minute video. So people that I speak to say 45 and 30 minutes is too long.